Dawn, northern Serengeti, late dry season. The light arrives slowly, thinning the night rather than ending it. Grass lies flattened by weeks without rain, its pale stems whispering as a low wind moves across the plain. In the distance, acacia silhouettes stand motionless, their shadows long and brittle. Somewhere beyond them, a wildebeest herd shifts, hooves pressing dust into the earth with dull, rhythmic sound. Near a shallow drainage, lions stir. Their bodies are heavy with stillness, muscles warm from a night, but unused. Flies gather the edges of their eyes. Tails twitch once, then settle. These animals have ruled this landscape for hundreds of thousands of years, not through spectacle, but through efficiency, through pressure, patience, and loss absorbed without ceremony. Around them lies a history older than any story told about them. Not legends of kingship, but a record written in bone, scar tissue, and survival rates. Lions live where failure is common and success brief. Every hunt is weighed against injury, every day against hunger, every season against extinction. This is not a contest of myth versus beast. It is a quiet collision between what lions are and what humans have long imagined them to be. The African lion, Panthera leo, is the only truly social cat in the world. Its presence is limited now to fragmented regions of sub-Saharan Africa, with a single critically endangered population persisting in India's Gir forest. Fossil and genetic evidence shows that lions once ranged far beyond these boundaries, across Europe, the Middle East, and into Asia, adapting to grasslands, open woodlands, and semi-arid ecosystems where visibility favored coordinated hunting over solitary ambush. Modern African lions are shaped by this long evolutionary negotiation between cooperation and cost. Adult males may exceed 190 kilograms. Females are smaller, but proportionally more efficient hunters. Sexual dimorphism is pronounced, not only in size, but in role. Manes, variable in color and density, appear to function as both sexual signals and indicators of health and hormonal status, though they also impose thermal stress. Evolution has not refined lions for comfort, but for survival within narrow margins. The Serengeti Mara ecosystem represents one of the last landscapes where lion behavior can still be observed at near historical scale. Seasonal rainfall drives one of the largest terrestrial migrations on Earth, moving millions of wildebeest, zebra, and gazelle across the plains. Lions do not follow the migration in full. Instead, prides anchor themselves to territories that balance prey access, cover, and defensibility. These territories are not static borders, but shifting zones shaped by water availability, prey density, and pressure from rival prides. Within this system, lions function as apex predators, but not as unchecked rulers. Their hunting success rates rarely exceed 25%. Most hunts fail. Energy budgets are tight. An adult lion requires roughly 5 to 7 kilograms of meat per day to maintain body condition, but feeding occurs in irregular surges rather than steady intake. Long periods of hunger are routine, not exceptional. Sociality allows lions to exploit prey far larger than themselves. Coordinated hunting enables the capture of adult buffalo, giraffe, and occasionally young elephants. Yet, cooperation carries risk. Injuries sustained during hunts, fractured canines, torn ligaments, puncture wounds, are common causes of decline and death. Studies in the Serengeti have shown that even minor lameness can reduce hunting participation, leading to nutritional stress and eventual exclusion from kills. Prides are structured around related females who remain in their natal territory for life. This matrilineal core provides continuity across generations. Cubs are raised communally, nursed by multiple females, and protected collectively against predators such as hyenas and leopards. Male lions, by contrast, live transient lives. Coalitions form during adolescence, often among brothers or close relatives, and disperse in search of prides to control. Tenure is brief. On average, a male coalition holds a pride for 2 to 3 years before being displaced or killed by rivals. Infanticide is a documented and biologically grounded behavior in lions, not an aberration. When new males take over pride, cubs sired by previous males are often killed. This accelerates the return of females to estrus and ensures the new male's genetic contribution before they are, in turn, replaced. From an evolutionary perspective, This strategy increases reproductive success within an environment where time is limited and mortality high. Environmental pressures intensify these dynamics. Drought reduces prey mobility and weakens herds, temporarily increasing hunting success but ultimately collapsing food availability. Disease outbreaks, such as canine distemper virus, have caused sudden population crashes, particularly when compounded by nutritional stress. Human encroachment further constrains lion range, fragmenting territories and increasing lethal conflict at ecosystem edges. The lion's role in the food chain extends beyond predation. By regulating herbivore populations, lions influence grazing patterns, vegetation structure, and even soil composition. The absence or reduction of lions has been linked to mesopredator release, altered prey behavior, and cascading ecological shifts. Their presence stabilizes imbalance not through dominance, but through pressure applied unevenly and without intent. What emerges from decades of field research is not a creature of constant power, but one finely balanced against loss. Lions persist not because they are invincible, but because, for now, the systems that shape them still exist, thin, stressed, and increasingly rare. Across evolutionary time, lions have been shaped less by conquest than by constraint. Their anatomy reflects a compromise between strength and endurance, power and overheating. Unlike cursorial predators, such as wolves, lions are built for short bursts rather than prolonged pursuit. Their muscle fibers favor explosive acceleration, while their cardiovascular systems are tuned for recovery rather than distance. This physiology anchors them to landscapes where cover, coordination, and timing matter more than speed. Thermal regulation is one of the lion's defining limitations. Active primarily during cooler hours, dawn, dusk, and night, lions avoid the metabolic cost of daytime heat. Studies using GPS collars and accelerometers show that lions may spend up to 20 hours per day resting, not from lethargy, but as an energy-conserving strategy essential to survival. Movement is deliberate. Waste is punished. The prey base of lions is broad but selective. While they are capable of killing animals several times their own mass, they preferentially target species within a specific weight range, typically 190 to 550 kilograms, where energy return justifies risk. Wildebeest, zebra, and buffalo dominate lion diets across much of East and Southern Africa, though local availability shapes specialization. In arid systems, lions may rely more heavily on smaller ungulates or even scavenging, a behavior often underrepresented in popular portrayals but well documented in field observations. Competition defines much of lion behavior. Spotted hyenas, present at densities that often exceed those of lions. Contest kills aggressively. Outcomes are determined less by species identity than by numbers, confidence, and fatigue. In some regions, hyenas are the dominant scavengers, regularly displacing lions from their own kills. This constant pressure alters hunting frequency, pride cohesion, and cub survival. Leopards, though less direct competitors, influence lion behavior through spatial avoidance and occasional cub predation. Lions are not immune to predation themselves. Cubs face high mortality rates, with fewer than half surviving their first year. Starvation, abandonment, disease, and attacks by hyenas or rival lions all contribute. Even adults are vulnerable. Old age is rare. Most lions die from injury, conflict, or starvation rather than senescence. Teeth wear down. Claws break. Bodies fail incrementally, not dramatically. Human influence now overlays every aspect of lion ecology. Habitat fragmentation restricts dispersal, increasing inbreeding and intensifying conflict between prides. Livestock depredation leads to retaliatory killings, often through poison that affects entire scavenger communities. Research across East Africa has shown that lion populations decline most sharply not in remote reserves, but in areas where protected land meets human settlement. Survival depends increasingly on tolerance rather than space. Despite these pressures, lions persist through behavioral flexibility. They adjust hunting times near human areas, becoming more nocturnal. They shift prey selection when preferred species decline. Male coalitions alter takeover strategies in response to pride size and female resistance. These are not conscious adaptations, but emergent behaviors shaped by selection acting on survival outcomes. What remains consistent is the absence of excess. Lions live close to the edge of energetic balance. Every success is temporary. Every advantage erodes. The animal endures not as a symbol, but as a participant in systems that neither reward loyalty nor recognize legend. This context frames what follows, not a story of supremacy, but of friction between biology and environment, between cooperation and competition, between survival and disappearance. Survival biology governs every decision a lion makes, though most of those decisions are invisible. Hunger is not constant, but cyclical, rising and falling with kill success, competition, and season. During extended dry periods, when prey becomes scarce or migrates beyond pride boundaries, lions enter prolonged states of caloric deficit. Body mass declines. Muscle tone softens. Females may suppress ovulation, and cub growth slows measurably. These physiological responses are not signs of weakness, but regulatory mechanisms that prevent total collapse under stress. In these periods, risk tolerance changes. Lions attempt hunts they would otherwise avoid, targeting larger or more dangerous prey. Buffalo become more common targets despite their capacity to maim or kill adult lions. Documented cases show prides losing multiple individuals in a single encounter, yet returning to buffalo days later when alternatives remain absent. Survival biology does not optimize for safety. It optimizes for persistence. Hunting strategy reflects this calculus. Lions rely on ambush rather than chase, using vegetation, darkness, and terrain to reduce the distance between predator and prey before initiating attack. Success depends on wind direction, group coordination, and prey awareness. Studies using night vision observation have shown that even minor disturbances, shifting wind, alarm calls from non-target species, can abort a hunt before it begins. Precision matters more than power. Lion intelligence, often overstated or misunderstood, operates within narrow bounds. They are not planners in a human sense, but they are capable of learning from outcome. Prides adjust hunting positions based on previous failures. Individuals remember injury risk and may refuse participation after trauma. Older females often assume roles that reduce danger, driving prey toward younger, faster hunters rather than engaging directly. This is not leadership as legend imagines it, but experience shaping probability. Social structure reinforces these adaptations. Communal rearing increases cub survival by buffering loss. When one female fails, another may compensate through shared nursing. However, this system only functions when food supply remains adequate. Under nutritional stress, cooperative bonds fray. Aggression increases at kills. Cubs are displaced earlier. Observational studies note higher rates of cub mortality during extended scarcity, even in otherwise stable prides. Rival species sharpen these pressures. Hyenas monitor lion movement continuously, exploiting fatigue and numerical advantage. Lions respond by feeding rapidly and relocating carcasses when possible. Though their ability to move large kills is limited, time at a carcass becomes a liability. Every minute spent feeding is a minute exposed. Across these interactions, morality does not enter. There is no fairness in access to food, no justice in survival. Biology enforces outcomes without explanation. Lions persist by operating within this indifference, shaped by limits they did not choose. Within the lion social world, parenting and conflict are inseparable. Females invest heavily in each reproductive cycle, carrying cubs for nearly 4 months and nursing for over a year. This investment is vulnerable at every stage. Dens are hidden in thickets or rocky outcrops, chosen for concealment rather than comfort. Females move cubs repeatedly in the first weeks of life, reducing scent buildup that could attract predators. Even so, detection is common. Hyenas, leopards, and rival lions all exploit moments of absence. The communal structure of prides offers protection, but also exposes cubs to the consequences of adult conflict. Male takeovers are the most abrupt disruptions. When new males displace resident coalitions, the behavioral shift is immediate. Females become defensive, sometimes hiding cubs or attempting to mate quickly to confuse paternity. These strategies occasionally succeed, often they fail. Infanticide follows not from cruelty, but from selection pressure favoring rapid reproductive turnover. Long-term studies in the Serengeti and Ngorongoro crater confirm that cub mortality spikes sharply after pride takeovers. Rivalry extends beyond conspecifics. Lions share overlapping ranges with other large predators whose strategies contrast sharply with their own. Leopards avoid direct confrontation, relying on stealth and arboreal escape. Cheetahs avoid conflict altogether, sacrificing strength for speed. Hyenas confront directly, operating as persistent opportunists. These differing survival models intersect without hierarchy. No predator is universally dominant. Context decides outcome. Territorial conflict between lion prides is among the most lethal interactions observed in large carnivores. Unlike ritualized displays seen in some species, lion confrontations often escalate to physical violence. Border patrols occur regularly, with roaring exchanges serving as long-distance assessments of number and strength. When miscalculations occur, clashes result in serious injury or death. Territory gained through such conflict offers access to resources, but at immediate cost. Nature's neutrality becomes most apparent here. There is no balance in force beyond consequence. A pride that overextends may lose adults faster than it can replace them. A coalition that hesitates may fail to reproduce at all. Intelligence, strength, cooperation, each offers advantage only briefly before conditions shift. These angles reveal lions not as embodiments of legend, but as organisms embedded in competition from birth to death. Their behaviors are neither noble nor brutal in intent. They are responses shaped by survival margins measured in weeks, not generations. Night settles without ceremony. The moon is thin, offering little light. Dust hangs low over the plain, suspended by the movement of animals converging on what remains of dry season water. The pride has not fed in 4 days. Their bodies reflect it, bellies drawn tight, movements economical. There is no restlessness, only a sharpening of attention. Females spread out along a shallow depression where game trails converge. This location has been used before. Success here has occurred in other seasons, under different conditions. Memory does not guarantee outcome, but it shapes choice. Downwind, a small group of Cape buffalo approaches the water. They are not the massive herds of the wet season, just 7 animals. Tightly clustered, their silhouettes dense and alert. Buffalo are dangerous prey. Each adult carries horns capable of lifting a lion from the ground. Lions do not prefer them. They accept them when alternatives fail. The wind shifts slightly. One lion freezes. Another lowers her head into grass. A third adjusts position, circling wide to cut off retreat. These movements are silent, practiced, but not precise. Fatigue introduces delay. A misstep snaps a stem. The buffalo stop. Heads lift. Ears rotate forward. The moment stretches. Then the charge begins, not from the lions, but from the buffalo. One breaks forward, testing the dark. The lions respond instantly. 2 launch toward the flank, aiming to isolate. A third targets the rear, attempting to pull down a hind leg. Contact is violent and immediate. Dust erupts. Hooves strike blindly. Horns swing low and fast. A lion is knocked sideways, rolling hard. Another clamps onto a shoulder, teeth searching for leverage through thick hide. The buffalo bellow, the sound deep and resonant. Carrying across the plain, the remaining animals will back, forming a defensive arc. They do not flee. Buffalo rarely do. Minutes pass in fragments of movement. Advance, retreat, collision. Energy drains rapidly. This is a cost lions calculate, but cannot fully control. One successful grip could end the struggle. One well-placed horn could end a life. Hyenas arrive before the outcome is decided. Their calls ripple from the dark, drawn by sound and scent. Numbers grow quickly. They do not intervene yet, but their presence tightens the window. Even success may not be enough. The lions press harder. One buffalo stumbles. A lion seizes a muzzle, cutting off breath. Others pile in, anchoring weight, forcing imbalance. The ground gives slightly beneath the mass. The animal falls. The struggle does not end. It slows. Breath shortens. Muscles fail. Eventually, movement ceases, not dramatically, but gradually, as resistance becomes unsustainable. The lions disengage and circle, chests heaving. Blood darkens the dust. Around them, hyenas close the distance. This is a turning point. Not victory, but consequence beginning to unfold. The carcass does not belong to the lions for long. They feed quickly, tearing at the abdomen where the hide is thinnest. There is no hierarchy enforced with care. Dominant females push forward. Subordinates wait for openings. One injured lion hangs back, favoring a foreleg, unable to compete for position. This delay will matter later. Hyenas advance in waves. At first, they test. Then they commit. Numbers swell, 10, then 15, then more, their confidence rising as lion fatigue becomes visible. Vocalizations sharpen. The sound is not intimidation alone, but coordination. When they rush, it is together. The lions respond with charges and roars, expending what little energy remains. Each defense shortens feeding time. A carcass this size could sustain the pride for days under uncontested conditions. Here, minutes decide outcome. A final surge breaks the line. Hyenas flood in, snapping, grabbing, forcing separation. The lions retreat in fragments, pulling away what meat they can carry in their jaws. One female refuses to release her grip and is bitten repeatedly along the flank before yielding. The injured lion never re-enters the fight. By dawn, the carcass is stripped to bone. The lions are already gone, bellies partially filled but far from restored. The cost is written across their bodies. Scratches, limps, shallow puncture wounds that may or may not heal cleanly. Infection is a delayed threat. There is no treatment, only outcome. This event alters the pride's immediate future. The injured lion's reduced mobility will limit participation in future hunts. If she cannot contribute, she may fall behind during movement, increasing vulnerability. Others must compensate or accept further hunger. No single hunt resolves scarcity. It only shifts it temporarily. For the hyenas, the encounter reinforces strategy. They have lost individuals in past confrontations, but the arithmetic remains in their favor. Pressure works. Persistence pays. The environment absorbs the remains. Bones are gnawed and scattered. Nutrients return to soil. Insects arrive. Vultures descend once the predators disperse. Nothing is wasted. Nothing is commemorated. What appeared as a decisive moment dissolves into pattern. Survival here is not defined by triumph, but by what remains possible afterward. The aftermath of the hunt is measured not in drama, but in recovery. Lions retreat to shaded depressions, moving slowly, conserving what remains of their energy. The injured female licks shallow scratches along her flank, a behavior that removes debris and reduces infection risk, though it cannot prevent all complications. Observations from the Serengeti indicate that even minor wounds can become life-threatening if mobility is compromised during subsequent hunts. Cubs stir cautiously nearby, sensing activity without fully understanding the events that unfolded. Mothers approach selectively, balancing vigilance against fatigue. Feeding patterns are uneven. Those who secured bites in the carcass maintain strength, while others remain undernourished. These imbalances affect social cohesion subtly. Aggressive tension rises during the next kill attempt, as previously subordinate lions press for access to limited resources. Prides adjust movement patterns in response to resource depletion. The waterhole, once a reliable hunting site, is now compromised by carcass removal and hyena activity. Lions relocate along game trails, recalculating energy expenditure versus potential reward. GPS tracking studies confirm that lions rarely return immediately to heavily contested areas, preferring marginal zones with smaller, more manageable prey. Energy deficits influence reproductive behavior. Female estrus cycles can be delayed by prolonged nutritional stress, reducing the pace of population turnover. Male coalitions, already taxed by fights and territorial patrols, may forego challenging rival prides until condition improves. The chain reaction of a single taxing encounter ripples outward, affecting birth rates, survival probabilities, and pride stability. Environmental pressures compound these consequences. The dry season continues and prey densities remain low. Lions may encounter scavengers more frequently, encountering conflicts that do not involve hunting but still exact energy costs. Even small skirmishes, if repeated, can amplify fatigue or produce injuries that limit future hunting efficiency. Long-term impact is evident in pride hierarchy. Dominant females who successfully navigate the hunt consolidate influence, while injured or weaker individuals drift toward subordination. Cubs born in the months following high-stress periods experience higher mortality, either through indirect nutritional stress or vulnerability during hunts. Ecological balance responds predictably. Prey populations face selective pressure, macaque predators capitalize on weakened lions, and the system adjusts without intent. These outcomes illustrate survival as a process of attrition rather than conquest. Lions endure by absorbing consequence, not avoiding it. Every physical cost, every failed strike, every altered path through the landscape contributes to the ongoing negotiation between life and environment. Yes, over the following weeks, the pride's condition stabilizes, but scars remain. Injuries heal unevenly. The previously wounded female shows a slight limp, reducing her capacity to participate in cooperative hunts. Observational studies in similar contexts indicate that such deficits can influence not only immediate feeding efficiency, but also long-term survival and reproductive success. Social dynamics adjust quietly. Dominant females assume additional hunting responsibilities, while males shift patrol routines to compensate for reduced mobility in their coalition. Cubs grow under these modified conditions, facing fluctuating access to milk and meat. Those previously on the fringe of the social hierarchy experience slower growth, a factor that may influence future dispersal success. Maternal investment becomes uneven, a natural outcome of constrained energy availability rather than intentional favoritism. Field research in East African lion populations has documented comparable patterns. High-stress periods following difficult hunts lead to measurable differences in cub survival, ultimately shaping pride composition over time. Territorial pressure also evolves. Neighboring prides monitor the weakened pride, expanding patrols along shared boundaries. Male coalitions are more likely to challenge partially impaired rivals, exploiting moments when energy and attention are divided. Encounters remain dangerous. Mortality risk is high, but advantage is temporal. Nature does not reward caution or patience. Only outcomes are observed. Prey populations reflect these dynamics indirectly. Buffalo and zebra herds experience less predation pressure during periods when lion hunting efficiency is reduced, allowing survival of individuals that would otherwise be at risk. In turn, these prey adjustments ripple across the ecosystem, affecting vegetation, water use, and predator-prey interactions beyond the immediate pride. Lions are thus both agents and subjects of environmental flux, their impact proportional to opportunity and constraint. The interaction with hyenas leaves lasting impressions. Hyena dens receive richer nutrition temporarily, but the fleeting bounty does not translate into dominance. Future hunts will recalibrate advantage repeatedly. Lions and hyenas exist in perpetual dynamic tension, one never permanent, one always contingent. Ultimately, the pride endures through adaptation, attrition, and recalibration. Each hunt, each conflict, each scarcity reshapes movement, cooperation, and hierarchy. Observed over years, the pattern is neither heroic nor tragic. It is a methodical arithmetic of survival. Lions persist not through legend, but through resilience embedded in biological law. Their lives measured in balance sheets of energy, risk, and consequence. The plains quiet as dawn breaks once more. Lions rest under scattered acacia, bodies heavy with yesterday's exertion, eyes half closed yet alert. Life continues in measured rhythm, unmarked by triumph, unswayed by legend. Survival is neither celebrated nor mourned. It is simply endured. In this landscape, the lion is at once remarkable and ordinary. Its strength is matched by vulnerability, its coordination by fragility. Every hunt, every movement, every interaction is an iteration of evolutionary necessity rather than storybook narrative. What endures is not myth, but consequence. The patient tally of energy spent, risk endured, and opportunity seized. The indifference of nature is evident in every scar, every lost cub, every battle won or surrendered. There is no morality, no reward beyond survival itself. Lions live within constraints older than any pride, shaped by wind, water, prey and competitor by chance and circumstance as much as by muscle and instinct. Their endurance is the measure of life itself, not a legend. In observing them, one glimpses the subtle architecture of existence. Balance is neither perfect nor permanent. Loss is inevitable. Persistence is earned moment by moment. The lion story is not a parable of power, but a testament to the relentless, impartial calculus of life on the savannah, a reminder that survival is its own quiet, enduring drama, written not in human imagination, but in the blood, breath, and shadow of the animal itself.